Welcome to Coaching with JBK.
Welcome all. Your roundup with the WSL roundup with your host JBK, Coaching with JBK as always. So, the first game of the new year was Reading versus Chelsea, and it ended with a Frank Kirby masterclass on the day. It was. She scored 4 in a 5-0 victory against Reading at the Medeski Stadium. So it was an away victory for Chelsea, and they've really wrapped up. I wouldn't say wrapped up, but more they've started to show that they are the champions that they are at the moment. And it wasn't just that there was a coronavirus that gave them the title. No reference to anybody else who have said that, but as far as I'm concerned, listen, Chelsea are one of those top teams that you can say haven't just given their all for one cause. They've been one of the top teams in the league for quite a long time, and they're really pushing the boundaries now, getting those wins in as well. On that weekend, that very same weekend, pretty much all games were cancelled, and it wasn't good for the WSL because all games were cancelled for the wrong reasons. A lot of people went on holidays. A few managers, credit to Emma Hayes and Casey Stoney, Chelsea and Manchester United managers respectively, who basically said it was a mistake, and there were mistakes that were made in terms of players going on holiday, and this is really a big blow to the WSL. So Casey Stoney mentioned that she allowed players to go away for personal reasons or for business, and they ended up in Dubai and came back with the coronavirus, with a coronavirus positive test. Emma Hayes was mentioning that when those players, when her players are in a position of power, they need to recognise their responsibilities and make sure that their responsibilities are shown to be the highest of standards, and she feels that the WSL and the women's game has been hurt by this as well. In a very good interview to say, well, we apologise with pretty much no football that weekend. So it came to the next weekend. We had a few more postponements due to more cases being tested or being positive. And we lost a few more games, but we did have a few that were really good. Reading managed to get back and show why Arsenal should have been there the week before. When it was Reading 1, Arsenal 1. Reading took the lead. Then Arsenal came back in the second half, and it was just hands to the pump for Reading, trying to keep their goal. Had a player taken off due to an injury. I'm hoping that she's okay. And we just move on from that one. Chelsea played Manchester United that same weekend, only last weekend. Chelsea won the game 2-1, which took them to the top of the table, which was brilliant, which was excellent for Chelsea, sorry. And it was good to see how they were going. There was a few more postponements in the league, but also Manchester City got to play against Aston Villa, and what you'll find out in the next set of results is they've really done appealingly well with their results. So Aston Villa basically had themselves handed to them in terms of the result. It was a 7-0 loss, and it wasn't easy to take. And to be fair, it's not one of the teams. They are one of the teams that have come up this season, so they've got a chance to do better. And they've got a chance to stay in the league as well. For a team that's coming up into the league, into the WSL for the first time this season, they're doing well. Above one of the mainstays in Bristol City, but I think it's one of those games where they're going to have to do well. I think for a long time now, for a period of for a little while, get a few wins under their belt. Their next game will be Chelsea, and as of Aston Villa, they played Reading on the weekend. In the snow. It started with no snow whatsoever. It started with a 1-1, then all of a sudden Reading took the lead going into the final part of the game, and all of a sudden there was a whole bunch of snow. you basically have a ball that's the same colour as the snow, and it's not easy to find or to see, and then eventually the ball ends up in the back of the Reading net to make it a 2-2 finish. Not easy for Reading, especially when throughout the game they actually had chances. They had a lot of chances to win the game, but weren't able to put their chances away. And Aston Villa managed to stay in the game for as long as possible and managed to get the draw out of it. So managed to get a point out of that. Well done to Aston Villa. Manchester United played Birmingham City, Aston Villa's city rivals, and managed to get a 2-0 win to take them back to the top of the league, sitting only about 3 points ahead of Chelsea. But it's enough just to actually sit at the top of the league, and for a team that's been in the WSL for 2 seasons now and really pushing themselves just to actually build upon their luxuries. Yes, they were a team that were forced to be put together, but to be fair, they've done themselves proud. Casey Stoney's put a great team together, brought in a bit of talent from America, and it's starting to pay off dividends to the point where they're now top of the league and they're really pushing themselves to be the best in the WSL. Manchester City, funny enough, also played against Brighton and Hove Albion, and it was an away game. And ironically, as I said, with the first game against Aston Villa, they scored 7. The only difference this time is that they conceded a goal. So, not easy for Brighton, not easy for Aston Villa, but Manchester City really pushing on, getting those extra goals, really getting the extra moments in their belt, starting to become a bit more of a solid base and a solid team together, and starting to really show that they've got a very deadly attack when it comes to having chances and finishing them off as well. But this is going to be an interesting one because there's been games being called off because of the weather, because of the coronavirus over the last month, and hopefully that will all be settled down within the next month or the next 2 months when we go into the final stages of the season. We also had the Conti Cup this week. West Ham played Durham FC. They beat them 3-0 during the week, and we also had a very big match between Chelsea and Manchester City, which Chelsea came away with a 4-2 win, extra time, and it was good. It was good to see, and it was a good match altogether. It's a shame that most of this has been on FA Cup weekends, and it is what it is, but now the league is really stepping up again. Hopefully we'll get more ground going and get more teams playing as well in the next few weeks, so that we can have a bit more coverage and show that the women's game is still growing monumentally. And hopefully it does, and hopefully we'll get more teams really pushing to make the WSL maybe a 20-team league in the next few years. Hopefully. If not, then 12 is enough for now, but it would be nice just to see 20 teams in the WSL, and hopefully 20 teams in the Championship as well. And in that way, we can actually see that the women's game is massively growing to an existential level, as I say. But yours truly is about to leave. He's going to have the rest of the day off. Yours is true. I'm going to leave you guys to it and have a listen to what's going on throughout the women's game. There are going to be games going on, regardless of whether it's during the week or during the weekend. Hopefully they don't get called off for any reason necessary. I've been your host, JBK. I'll see you later.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on social media, dropping vlogs, blogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.